he has been quizzing me for the past 3 years, and every year we've looked at this. Is this going to make a difference? Well, 2 years previous, I don't think it made any difference because everything was burning up. It's just a problem. But this year, what we don't have yield data yet, anything like that, but we're just looking at what's shed. In the 2 in, 1 out, there's a lot less being shed right now. Now, he might have got a rain last night, but he's been a pretty good dry period. Did he? Okay. Oh, there we go. All right. Now, don't tell him I was talking about it, okay? All right. But anyway, he said, what do you think? And so he's put me to the test, and I said, well, it looks like the 2 in, 1 out is not shedding as bad as the solid. And he said, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. I said, the 2 in, 1 out is taller, which, big deal, what difference does that make? And he said, yeah, but I think I'm getting a little bit of cushion. And I said, yeah, probably 2 weeks or more, 2 in, 1 out versus the 8. It looks like the 8 is going down quicker than the 2 in, 1 out. And he said, yes, I get 2 weeks of cushion. I don't forget the word he used, some other word, but anyway, I call it cushion. The idea being that with maybe a little extra moisture in that situation, that he's able to hang on a little further. Now, got a little rain, I guess, so
part of it.
Part of it, okay. Well, he was saying maybe I brought it, so you tell him yes, I brought that rain there. So we're out in the field looking. It was a great day to be looking at cotton. There is more shedding of cotton squares and even some bolls in that solid pattern. So that'll be interesting what you find out on that deal. The other thing that we're talking about with this unnamed cotton farmer out there in O'Donnell area is field bindweed. We're talking about field bindweed, which is becoming a real issue. Organically, I've tried all kinds of things. We keep introducing the mite in different locations. And the mite's there and doing some stuff, but not very fast. And I don't know what to do. Carl asked me if there was a spot treatment. Could we go in with some sort of equipment and spot spray the bad areas of field bindweed? Now he's thinking large spots, come in there and just hit that hard. But those are hard to contain, but maybe if we found a few bindweed, could we hit those and maybe stop it from spreading out into other areas of the field with something? And I said, I don't know if we can do that. That would be an interesting concept. But tomorrow, meaning today, I'm bringing a researcher that's going to solve the field bindweed problem. He's going to take on the challenge. All right. Muthu he's a good friend, but he's also a great researcher. He's working on these things, and Muthu said he was coming out here and wanted to demonstrate whatever this machine is over here. I'll let you explain it. He's got a team of people with him. I don't know when you're at home. I mean, we do a lot of stuff together, and I appreciate that, but he's always gone somewhere working on a research project. So I'll turn it over to Muthu, and you can explain all the things you're working in. But seriously, he is working on our issues. And I say that with all sincerity. He is out here because he's aware of these issues, and he's asking questions, I think, of everybody, and he's asking you to comment, about things and let him know because he is interested. He brought the equipment. So, Muthu?
Thanks, Bob, and good afternoon, everybody. Yes, good morning.
Step up there, everyone.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
And first of all, thanks, Bob, for the opportunity to be here and talk about what we do and what we try to do. My name is Muthu Bagavathiannan. I'm a faculty, Weed Science and Systems Agronomy in College Station with A&S. What I want to do today is to cover a couple of points about, especially weed control research and also organic cotton management projects that we are doing, mainly based at College Station managed, but we have a lot of activities here in the High Plains. We have two major components within the USDA NEPA supported organic cotton project. One is on-station research, the other one is on-farm research that you're all participating. In the on-station research, I just want to touch on some key elements here. It's currently conducted in 4 locations, one in Las Cruces, New Mexico, Lubbock, Texas, with Megan here and Dr. Dotre and Katie Lewis. They're all participating in that research. And one site in College Station that we are managing, Deepak, is here. He's helping to manage along with Paika. You might be familiar with Paika. She's working with a lot of you. And then we have one site in the Mississippi Delta at the Agri Center International. It's near Memphis. Okay, so these are the four sites where in on-station research we try to understand how we can, reduce the number of tillage passes and still manage to grow organic cotton. That seems to be a very interesting question because we've been trying hard, and in years like this year, where we've been getting rain after rain, for 6 weeks together, the pigweeds are, well, yeah, Neil did a great job here. We've been trying, but the pigweeds, yeah, it's really hard to control. Like maybe 5 to 6 foot tall, so that's kind of what we're dealing with. But what we're trying to do in that research is how can we integrate non-tillage methods for weed control in an organic system, right? So what are the other tools that we have in a more experimental setup? So we are looking at cover crops. Of course, they provide weed suppression to some extent. And of course, it's not going to be the like only pollution that we can rely on. All depends on how much biomass it's producing. We're also trying what is called living mulches, which may not be very much suitable for this region, but in the South Texas and the Mississippi Delta, you could potentially plant something in between, a short duration crop like a cowpea, can just come up and make a canopy but not compete with cotton, and provide some weed suppression, add some nitrogen. So that is a concept called living mulches. We are testing that. And also tools like flame weeding, flaming, and of course the finger weeders. Those are two major tools that we are integrating within these experiments. But along the side, we are also testing electrical weed control. I don't know how many of you are excited about electrical weed control in cotton. I mean, you might have seen a lot of these zappers, right, that go above the cotton canopy. I mean, there are some being used in peanuts, but those are, with a metal rod, and it's, it doesn't go in between the rows, right? So you're only hitting the weeds that grow above the cotton or peanut canopy. Whereas with this new system, we are working with a company called Zesso. It's a Brazilian and German company. We designed a inter-row unit working with them. So it goes between the cotton rows. So you can actually run it just like like a flaming or a tillage equipment, but without disturbing the soil, right? So that is the benefit of using the electrical weed control. We are testing over there, and we had the opportunity to work with Megan and Dotre's group here in Lubbock. We shipped the unit and did some testing. And maybe if you have a minute, you can just quickly, share your experience with what you have seen, especially with bindweeds, because we really wanted to hit bindweeds and other weeds that are important to this region. So we did one testing this summer. We're going to come back again a little later in the fall to test a larger weed sizes in different species. Anyways, we'll get to that in a second.
Where are you looking over here? Raise your hand.
Oh,
Raise your hand. There we go.
Megan is
Right.
here. She's with, I want to call, she's with Texas A&M AgriLife Research, and also Texas Tech. Dr. Dotre, you might be familiar with Dr. Dotre, lead scientist, so she's Dr. Dotre. Yeah, so we are trying to see whether electrical weed control can be one of the solutions that can fit within these systems. So far in our testing in College Station, it is looking really good. The speed is, of course, something we need to consider. So we are hitting about 2 miles per hour. That's kind of where the sweet spot is. Because if you go faster, if you have small weeds, you're still fine. But the weeds are too big and you go fast, you don't get that level of coverage. We're still not seeing great efficacy with perennial weeds like Johnson grass, and the bindweed is one of them. And we're also seeing that the moisture content of the plant is also an important factor because the electricity it goes through the path of least resistance. So maybe Megan, in just a few words, what was your impression? in terms of weed control in this environment?
So it did great with cleaning up the furrow. I only wish we could extend it a little more to get underneath the canopy, but we had a BASF rep come out to see one of our other trials, and we showed him, look at what the weed zapper is doing in the furrows, and he joked, he goes, oh, it looks like it's got some residual control, because it really did seem like it suppressed the next flush of weeds. Don't quote me on that, but it really cleaned up the furrows well, and now the task is how wide can we go with it?
Well, thank you for sharing your experience with that. And yes, it's always, in organic system, cleaning up the weeds between the rows is not that big of a challenge, right? We have tools, but within the row is where you don't have a lot of tools, and it really takes a lot of skill to control those weeds within the rows. And we'll get to that in a second. How some robotic technologies can help address those challenges, and even within the area between the two rows, and you have weeds, and our go-to tool is tillage, right? So the challenge with the tillage event is we are just tilling too much for weed control, because we don't have a tool that is as effective as tillage, and we're all cognizant of the challenges that come with the soil degradation when we till the soil too much. So from that standpoint, technologies like electrical weed control or even flaming, when we are testing, we have seen consistently reduced weed emergence following these treatments. What Megan mentioned, like the residual control. Okay. So what's actually happening there is, so these electricity, they don't sit around to provide residual activity, right? So just like residual herbicide that we apply to the soil. But what is actually happening is the lack of soil disturbance, right? The soil disturbance, it really stimulates weed seedling emergence when you get a flush of rain or irrigate, right? After a tillage event. But if we manage to kill those weeds without having to till, there is a significant difference. You can see that visually. Like, it's almost like we applied a residual control, and we've seen that across different tools, not just electricity, with our flaming weed control trials as well. So that's something for you all to consider and see, how we can take advantage of that synergy, right? By reducing tillage and using other tools, we can also minimize the number of weeds that can emerge following the weed control treatments. So something to really wanted to share. So we are doing more controlled research on those to optimize the speed, and how much energy we have to use, and all those things. We're also looking at efficacy on different weed species. Again, I appreciate the collaboration with Dr. Dotre